Yes, please. Have you
I've
given
never
your comments
spoke.
already? You have. Okay. Yeah, I'll let you.
Oh, well, thank you. Appreciate that. Well, special. I'll make it very quick. I'm not a long-winded kind of guy. My question is, and I asked this at one of the meetings, and before I ask this question, I'd like to say that it's really important to me that I get a copy of these community meetings so that I can participate and kind of know what's going on, because it's our livelihood. I mean, it's a big move for us. And the question is that I asked before, would John Stewart, Tida, or Lennar, whoever's involved in this part of it, would they be willing to, because in reference to the community aspect, and also in reference to us having a comparable place, this word that uses comparable, I don't necessarily think that's an accurate word in the terminology here, because it's like moving someone from Hunters Point, from Pacific Heights to Hunters Point in regards to crime rates. We never see police on YBI because we don't have any trouble, but every time I talk to the police, they're telling me that just the true statistics don't lie. They're like, a lot of trouble down here. You better watch your back, you better lock your doors, all that stuff. I'm only saying what I'm told, right? I'm not making anything up here. I'm just like, so I asked if they would build us like a retainer wall, like make it a gated community. But I think it got shut down really quick, and I never got an answer or anything, because I would like really for this move to be comparable. I understand you can't stop progress, excuse me. And I understand that this is the only place for us to go, I guess, but I would like it for it to be comparable, like feeling the safety that we feel on YBI, and not have to go into an area where crime rates are statistically significantly higher. I don't know the exact rates. I'd have to do the research myself.
Thank you.
If you could answer that question, maybe about the retainer wall, maybe make us a gated community or something, so we could all stay a community, you know?
I don't know what you're
That's incredible.
characterizing
I've never.
Treasure Island to be.
Thank you.
And I think that,
Wants to ghetto you out.
Yeah, big time.
there's only so much housing, and there's an existing neighborhood that you have a
That's
choice.
incredible.
You have choice to move into a unit there, or you have a choice to take in a new payment. If you feel that you don't want to move into that neighborhood, you have that choice. But I don't think you should cast aspersions on an existing neighborhood and the neighbors who will be your future neighbors.
Yeah, I agree. I mean,
Thank
you're talking
you.
about desire, I'm talking about comparable, the word you use, comparable. I think. it would
But you
be
make us sound like we're a ghetto. We're not a ghetto.
And we live
You
down.
know, we live here. I've lived here for 10, 11 years.
Responsible as well. We
So-
want everybody to
You
have a safe
included, I want you guys to feel
Okay.
safe too.
We feel
So I-
safe. You know, and I'm sorry, but I keep hearing from YBI people, and I've heard this since the beginning, that they don't want to live with us.
That's
I'm
not what
sorry.
anybody has ever said.
Yes, it
Hey,
has. I sat at a meeting of the Board of Supervisors when a person got up there and said they didn't feel safe moving down to Treasure Island, so they didn't think that the plan should go forward. You know, and it's just frustrating for those of us that live down here to hear that.
Excuse me, if you have a conversation, I think this conversation can take outside of the public hearing. But I know that
I apologize.
it is a.
Don't apologize. It should be within this hearing.
There- Unfortunately, there's only the housing
I've
that
heard
we
this
have,
since the
and you
beginning.
have that
I know.
choice to make, the decision that makes sense for you and your family. So we will do as best as we can. Mr. Beck, did you want to add?
I did just want to address the perception of crime. If you do speak with the police officers from Southern Station and the officers here on the island, which I do, you'll know that the crime rates on Treasure Island are much lower than in other areas throughout the Southern Station jurisdiction, and some of the lowest in San Francisco. One of the unique things about about Treasure Island is that it is a small community, and people do know their neighbors, and people do know what happens on the island. Whereas if you're in San Francisco, if you're in Pacific Heights, you don't know what happens in the households of your 2,000 closest neighbors. And in fact, the crime rates here on Treasure Island are quite low by San Francisco.
I lived in Pacific Heights. There's plenty of crime there.
So